twisted truth and sharp goodbyes. The insults flew but missed their mark, left me standing in the dark. An easy target they can claim, just 'cause I refuse to play their game. Too honest for my own damn good, I stood my ground just like I should. I got a strong this past long year, through every laugh and every tear. They knocked me down, but here I rise, like a phoenix blazing through the skies, like a phoenix blazing through the skies. Now you're stuck with me, it's clear to see. New friends lift me endlessly. The change in me is plain and true. I'm strong and wild and free like you. I got it strong this past long year, through every laugh and every tear. They knocked me down, but here I rise, like a phoenix blazing through the skies, like a phoenix blazing through the
Hey, everybody. Thanks for coming. Trevor's already here, so I'm not going to say anything. The mods can take care of everything. I already told them what to do, and I am going to add him to the live. Hi, Trevor.
Hi, Cindy.
How you doing?
Good, actually. Yeah, not bad. Can't
Wait
complain.
a minute. I got to do something. That was for you.
Thank you.
You have a little cold?
I've had a cold for a couple of days. I think I got it off my son.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. You man up, get on with it, don't you? Am I allowed to say man up anymore? I don't know. You just get on.
You can say it to me for sure. Oh, let me just see. Oh, all kinds of people are in the live. That's wonderful. Thanks for coming, everybody. Well, I have been fortunate enough to receive Trevor's book, Exploitation. He sent it to me signed. I won it, actually. I don't win anything. This is great. And I really, really enjoyed it. I'm just going to pull up some notes that I made. Okay. So we're going to do the questions from the subs or the audience, I guess the audience later. But I just wanted to talk to you first about your book. So I did not read the other one. Is the title First into Sanguine?
That's right, yes.
Okay. I did not read that, but I'm going to after this for sure. Look, I found your book to be brutally honest, thoughtful. It's an account of your training, your service in the Royal Irish Guard. I have that right, correct?
Royal Irish Regiment.
Royal Irish Regiment. I apologize.
It's okay. Yeah. Yes,
I'm an American, so. And you know what really struck me was your honesty about how all of your encounters made you feel. And you were so frank, and you shared the good and the bad. And now there are 3 theaters that stuck out to me. I know you were in many more things, but the one was in Sierra Leone when the West Side Boys took 14 Royal Irish, right?
Yes.
That was very important. And then there was the mobilization into Iraq and your frontline fighting there.
Mhm.
And then the third one that stuck out for me was the Afghan War and your service there, specifically guarding the insurgents, which would have driven me absolutely crazy having to do all you had to do for them. Now, can you just briefly tell us about, oh, and I also wanted to say, like, another thing that impressed me was that you were constantly wanting to serve and be in action and be of value to the effort. Any effort you were in, constant drive to do that. You always wanted to better yourself, increase your knowledge, and most of all, you wanted to teach others what you had learned.
Yeah.
I was really impressed by that. So, just for background, can you tell us a little bit about the progression in your rank during the book, as well as where you were stationed, and just a brief, like, what your duty was or what your title was at the time?
Right. Are we talking about Afghanistan or just the rank?
The book, through the book, because the book spans how many years?
Oh, that book spans probably from about 2006 through to 2015, a little bit. Yeah. So there's quite a lot in there.
No. But what did you start at? What was your rank?
Well, I started as a private, and I ended up as a staff sergeant. But in the book, I think it just goes from corporal to sergeant, probably a little bit that direction. But
Okay.
First of all, I was surrounded by good soldiers, which helped. It helps lift you up. It helps your performance whenever the people around you are of a good performance. I mean, so a lot of the time I was fortunate. Okay, I may have had the rank and been in charge of a few guys, but the guys that I were in charge of were of a fabulous standard. I'll say they knew their job inside out. I didn't need to. If I asked them to do something, they did it. Okay, and there was no complaints there. I mean, I know that some commanders, when they asked their guys to do certain tasks, they would go back and check up on them, whereas I didn't have to. I mean, when I asked guys to get into go and put out a defensive position, or go and like claymores, or go and support something, or shut something off, the guys did it without question. So I was very fortunate that every time I had to report back to my boss went, great effort. So I got the praise a little bit for the hard work that my guys did as well, So yeah, but that all comes down to training. Whenever you're training your guys to go and do those type of operations, you make sure that you have all your guys qualified in the right elements you need them to be in, so that whenever you do arrive in front of enemy, it just rolls like clockwork, and you don't have to worry about it. The only thing you have to worry about is possibly taking casualties. But my guys were super qualified, and they wanted to be there, and they wanted to fight. So it helps.
And they meant a great deal to you.
Oh yeah, 100%.
I mean, that came through so clearly to me. Let's go back a little bit. Your dad was in the Army, right?
Yes, he was. Yes.
And he got out in 1977. That's when I graduated high school.
Is it? Oh wow.
And then he demobilized at St. Patrick's Barracks in Ballymena.
Yes, he did actually. Yeah, where I did training.
Okay, and then that's where you learned to become a soldier.
Yeah.
And you began your career with the Royal Irish Regiment. And you talked about your upbringing a little bit. It was a happy one.
Oh yeah.
Your parents just gave you kids everything that you needed, and you traveled a lot. Where did you go?
My dad, well, you got to bear in mind, my dad went from the Army to the prison service, and he was on big money. I mean, he was back in those days. He had danger money. You got to bear in mind there was a lot of trouble in Northern Ireland back in the 70s and early 80s. So he would work 12-hour days though. 12-hour days. Where he worked, I mean, on his landings in the prison was quite dangerous. I mean, first of all, I mean, unfortunately, he's not here to tell these stories, but I've interviewed him in the past, and he remembers the hunger strikers. He remembers Bobby Sands. He remembers all that happening in the prisons. He remembers walking the landings in the Crumb and in McGarbury and stuff like that. There, he remembers the Shankill butchers. You know, he had all the different wings, the loyalism and the republicanism within the prisons. It was quite a stressful upbringing for him, but I didn't know that. I didn't know that every day my dad would have to check below his car for a bomb in case he was blown up. I didn't know that everywhere my dad went, he had to carry a personal protection weapon. I didn't know that back in those early days that he was exempt from wearing a seatbelt in case he had to escape a possible attack onto our family. I mean, there was the stress he had was unbelievable, but he did it. He did it because he wanted us to have everything. You know, we had a great upbringing.
Probably never a word of complaint, right? From him.
No, he was stressed. You know, of course he was stressed, but he hid it. He hid it from me and my brother and my sister. He hid it well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you were also really good at judo.
Yes.
And you won the All Ireland Judo Championship. Did you you must have found that strength in those moves helped you eventually in battle, right? Or no?
I hate to lose at anything. I mean, I've just been to the snooker hall and Charlie beat me 7-5 at pool, but I walk away hitting him for that. But the thing is, I don't like to lose at anything. When I took up judo, it was to get me off the street, to get me out of trouble, and I enjoyed it. Now judo's not fighting. There's a difference. I mean, street fighting's different. I mean, you can stand there with all your in your bits to go and do martial arts, but in reality, someone could just punch you in the face and knock you out. So judo is judo's about learning your inner strength and about using your enemy's strength with putting it back to them. But I found judo to be something that I loved. I mean, I went through the belts pretty quickly in judo, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Me and my sister. I mean, I was the Northern Ireland champion, and my sister was the Northern Ireland champion. We went down to I think it might have been, I can't remember exactly, Letterkenny, I think it was, in Ireland, and we fought against Northern Ireland, against Ireland, the national teams, and me and my sister beat them, and we became All Ireland champions. I mean,
wow.
I was young though. That was before I joined the military, so
right.
I knew what it was like to be punched. I knew what it was like to be thrown about. So I mean, judo's not one way where you win. I mean, there was a guy, I don't even know where he is now. Actually, I've just remembered him. In the north of Ireland, there was one. I fought for a club called Miraquai, and my biggest competitor was a guy called Jared Dunlap, who fought for a club called Yamaquai, and he beat me week in, week out for years. Week in, week out, I would throw him, but he was stronger than me, and he was my nemesis. I couldn't get past him. So for years, he dominated me. I would win silver medals here and silver belts here. Sorry, not silver, but silver medals and silver trophies. Come second to him. And then the first time that I actually beat Jared Dunlap was in Avonale Leisure Centre in Belfast. It was an open championship, and I beat him. And it was the first time ever. And all the crowd were watching us fight. And I got the better of him, and I pinned him. And I awarded a nip-on. And
wow.
The weird thing is, he never competed again. He gave up after that. He walked away from me.
How about that? That's
which is a shame. Which is a shame. I mean, it must have been like 25-0. Then I made it 25-1, and he quit. That was probably a bit of an upset because I had no one to aspire to try and beat. He's the one that kept me fighting. He kept me fighting every week, kept me training. My coaches tried to improve me. And the one time I beat him, out of 26 goes, he walked away from the sport, which was a shame for me because then I just didn't want to do it anymore as well.
Okay. I was wondering, I was going to ask you what made you lose interest, because you did mention you lost interest.
Yeah, I just there was that along with other factors and moving clubs and different things. I lost the interest in it. Yeah, which is a shame. But I could have went on and been good, or I could have went on and gotten beaten up. You never know. You know, you never know. Yeah.
It would have been nice to keep beating him and set a precedent for yourself, but oh well.
Yeah, well, it is what I tried to do judo. I mean, it was like 15 years later. I was in the army, and one of the PTIs, can't remember his name, QMSI, guy in charge of fitness, said there's a judo competition coming up, Trev. You any good at it? And I was like, yeah, I used to do judo, yeah, years ago when I was a kid type thing. And I don't know why I said that to him, but he entered me in the competition. Me and a guy called Jerry Maguire. Me and a guy called Jerry Maguire. Jerry Maguire was a guy from my company, decent soldier actually. And me and Jerry went to the gym, and Jerry used to do judo as a kid, and I used to do judo as a kid. So we're there thinking we know judo now, and we knew how to. But he entered us into a competition at the Army Championships against black belts. And I was like, well, so me and Jerry went down, have not done judo in years, and we're put up in a fight against this black belt first dan. And I'm thinking, this isn't going to end well. So I got in against these I fought 3 different black belts that day. Bear in mind, I'm now a white belt. I have went back. So it was an open championship, and I stood there and I fought good with them. You know, I tried to hold them back, but I lost all 3 fights in a row, which makes you feel disillusioned in this sport again, doesn't it? But I give it my best, but I wasn't up to the scratch with these 3 guys,
Yeah.
Oh well.
So when you were a corporal teaching recruits at the Infantry Training Center in Cataract, so you got a call from your brother Billy, and he told you that he was going to the Gulf and told you to get yourself back there. And you wanted to go badly, right?
I did. I did. I got it. Yeah, I got a call, and I was told about it, and I was jealous more than anything. The way I looked at it was, am I the right guy to be teaching recruits? Because you know what, times have changed. So, do you think you're qualified to teach recruits how to behave in battle when you've never been to battle and you've never been to war? So to me, it was just pointless. I know other instructors think differently. There's other instructors out there that are probably more professional than me, and I take my hat off to them. But I was young, and I just thought, nah, this isn't me. So I got in touch. Basically, I got in touch with guys back in camp and my brother and stuff, and I was like, what's the crack? And it came back from Tim Collins, actually, that my unit at the time was down section commanders. We didn't have enough section commanders to lead men in battle. And I went, okay, when are we going? Well, we don't know yet, Trev. We're put on standby for the Gulf. So I got a train back down from Catterick back down to where we were, I think in Canterbury, actually. And I got the train down, went into camp, seen the RSM, Dougie Beatty. And he was like, what are you doing here? You're meant to be up there. I went, well, you're short of commanders. He went, yes, but you don't belong to us anymore. You've been taken out of you've been taken off our numbers, and you're now part of the training team. And I went, well, what do I do to go? He says, well, we can't ask you back. You have to be RTU'd, returned to unit. And I went, okay, when are we going? And he gave me sort of a rough idea, and I'm like, okay, I'll see you then. And he just went, okay. I went back to camp, and I tried a lot of things. I tried a lot of things. I mean, I had young lads. When I say young lads, they were aged from about 18 to about 27, 28. Decent guys. And I remember going back and having to go through training and teach them and stuff. But my heart wasn't there anymore. I'm like, I want to go to war. I want to go read. So I said to one of the guys, one of the recruits, I go, do me a favor. Go and tell the boss that I'm being abusive towards you. Report me. And the guy was like, what? Just go and report me. Just tell him. He was, Lieutenant, blah, 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 Lieutenant, blah, blah, blah. And Corporal Coult's very abusive towards me, and I don't like it. I would like to report him. Okay. Go and get me Corporal Coult. And I'm like, and I goes, sir, I come to attention and salute. No, sir. And he's, you being abusive to young lads? I went, I'm just treating them normally. Get out my sight. I know what you're up to. And I'm like, fuck. So then I came across one of the lads, decent young lad. I think he was from Ascension Islands. And I was like, I think his name was Stephen, actually. I said, Stephen, come here. Go and tell the boss that I'm being racist towards you, will you? Just to see. And he went, what? Corporal Coult? I said, just go and tell him I'm being racist, just to see what he says. He went and he says, boss, Corporal Coult's being racist towards me. He says, there's he, go and get him. And I went out again, keep attention saluted. He said, yes, Corporal Coult, you're not being sent back to your unit. Stop messing about
Right.
and go. So I'm running out of ideas now. I'm like, Now, one of the ideas I had was simple. Now, even though the lads are the right age to drink alcohol, I had a couple of guys which were 19, 21, and 24 and stuff. And I said, right, guys, jump in the vehicle. Where are we going? I says, I'm going to take. Look, I was in Barrybudden actually teaching. And I went, right, guys, we're going to go to the pub just outside the gate. I'm going to take you in there. Now, these guys are old enough to drink. I want to point that out.
Right.
But they haven't been given permission by
Right.
the military to be out drinking. So I took all three of them outside camp, went into a pub, bought them all a pint, had my pint. And because outside Barrybudden, there's a bar which is maybe about 150 meters away from where we were. So it's only 150. So I parked outside, took them in, had a few beers myself. And I went, all right, fellas, I'm going to go into camp. And they were like, how are we getting in? They haven't been issued ID yet. And I says, go to the guard room and book in. And they were like, well, what do we say if they say we're being out? Say Corporal Coult took you out for a beer. That's it. So I went in and I stood in the back of the guard room and I seen them coming in. They only had a beer each, by the way, hadn't drunk anymore. And they came in and I stood in the back of the guard room and the BOS, the battalion orderly sergeant and the officer was there. And they were like, who are you? Ranger such and such, Ranger such and such, Ranger such and such. He went, why are you out of camp? Corporal Coult took us out for a beer. Did he? Did he? Where's Corporal Coult? I'm in the back of the guard room going, I'm in here, sir. Right. RSM's Monday morning, you're being charged for taking recruits out. So they did. They charged me for taking recruits out of camp. And what came with that was the return. They sacked me from my job and they sent me back to Catholic. But I now knew I was going back with my talent to the Gulf War. And that's how I got around it.
Yep.
And it worked out for me. Okay, I got reduced from the ranks from corporal.
I was going to say it didn't work out in that way. Yeah.
You know what? It's not about the rank. I mean, whenever you're a young lad, it's about the experience. It's about leading men. It's about going to war. Rank doesn't matter when you're doing those. Yeah. And I thoroughly enjoy it. I've no regrets there. I've no regrets of that whatsoever.
So you fly into Kuwait, staging area, right? And it ends up that now you called him General Jackson, but he's also known as General Sir Mike Jackson, right?
Yes, he is. Yes.
He comes and addresses the troops. So before I go any further, I want to show something. I'm going to share my screen. This is very scary, but I'll do it. I can do it. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. Here we go. Oh my goodness. There we go. Just a little thing. Just a little thing I found.
Okay.
Look familiar?
I can't see anything at the minute.
Oh, you can't see it? Oh, shoot.
No one can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe if I add it to stage. Here we go. There he is, right?
Oh.
Here?
Yes. Yeah, it's General Mike Jackson. That's my guys.
I was wondering.
There's Chris Truesdale, sniper. Yep. He was a good sniper, actually.
This is all I could find on this speech that he gave, and they didn't record the speech. I'm sure they did,
well, the soldiers are aware
that back there's my
colonel
colonel
going on not only in Britain but internationally. But they're here to do a job on behalf of the British government if they're required to do it. We don't know that yet. But it's a job which will be challenging and it could be dangerous. And I can assure you they're very focused on doing whatever they have to do to the very best of their ability. Yeah, there are, I think, 2 or 3 ships yet to come in. I would have thought 4 or 5 days would pretty much complete the whole logistic piece. But even if it was a day, it's good to go. Thank you very much. Are you all done? Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah. He was a good commander, him, actually, General Jackson. Very good commander.
But then after that, oh, here. There we go. After that, you got quite a moving speech when it was confirmed you were going into Iraq. And that
Yes.
was by your CO, Tim Collins, right?
Yes, I remember that speech. I mean, we were living at the time in these beautiful tents, Saudi Arabian tents, and they had posts inside them, beautiful big tents. And we had had a couple of sandstorms leading up to that speech, and the inside the tents was ridiculous. I mean, I was laying. The floor was wooden, by the way, so in the tents, beautiful wooden floors. But we had our sleeping bags out, and we were just coming in and out from there, and we were making dinner. I remember we called it nose bag, like the end of a nose of a horse. So we were making nose bag, and we were on MREs, which is meals ready to eat. So American rations we were on at the time. And I remember all I heard was right outside, the CEO wants to do a speech. The CEO wants to talk to everyone. And all I could think of, fuck's sake. My food's, do you know what? This is what we all thought. Sake. Food's going to get cold. That's all we thought. Our food's going to get cold, right? So we went outside. Oh my God, didn't that speech last forever? It felt like it lasted forever. I think the journalist who wrote that was a woman called Sarah Oliver, who recorded that and put it everywhere. And interesting story about that, actually. That speech that he gave was fabulous. I would never knock it. But I remember, because that was 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Now, several years later, I'm in the White House, and I go into the Oval Office to speak to the. Jesus, here we go. I go into the Oval Office to speak to the president, and we're standing there and we're chatting away, and he talks about different things. And I said to him, "Do you still have Colonel Tim Collins' OBE speech? It's alleged to have been on the wall here."
Uh-huh.
And he did.
Wow.
He had his speech framed in like a gold frame thing. Tim Collins' speech from the Gulf War 2003.
Wow. So this is Bush.
Yes. George
Wow.
W.
And
Yeah,
you saw the speech handwritten or typed or what?
Oh, it's like calligraphy.
Wow.
Beautiful. But you know what? I'm going to be honest. It was 2003. You didn't have these type of phones to take photographs. And even if you did have, and you weren't, as far as I was concerned, I wasn't allowed to walk around the White House with a mobile phone with a camera on it. You're not allowed to, unless you're probably a permanent member of staff. But no, I mean, the last thing, I mean, which is a shame, because I would have loved to have got a photograph of that. Oh well.
But you said it left the men with tears running down their face.
Oh, it was certainly an emotional speech. I'll tell you that, because we didn't know what was going to happen. We knew that we were going to have a few battles, and yeah, I mean, it's time to get you sit back and you think, okay, this is it, you know. Yeah. And what made it worse was my platoon sergeant was a decent guy, actually, but him walking around, I mean, him coming to speak to you. Platoon sergeants are strict. They are, you know, they're firm but fair, and I remember my platoon sergeant, Clarkey, Donald Clark, came up and he went, "Right, Speedy." And he called, there was no first names, it was just nicknames. "Right, Speedy.
Right, Speedy, yeah.
Have you done your last letter to your family? Have you done this?" I mean, all those things start hitting you, and you're like, "Fuck." Sorry, you're like,
"No,
wow,
yeah, right."
This is go and make sure you've got your last letter written, and make sure your will. We all knew, because their wills were all in place anyway.
Yeah.
But you never expect someone to come up to you and say, you know, "Where's your last letter?" Things that you want to put. And I'm like, okay. So we did all that. Yeah, it was an interesting time to go for. Yeah.
Now, in Iraq, from the moment you arrived, literally, you had that respirator on, off, on. That must have been such a pain. And the temperatures and the gear, like we would get temperature reports here in the news and say, you know, it's this degrees in Iraq today, and the guys are wearing all this equipment which makes their body heat like 120 or something. it had to have been hard, but you never complain about it in the book. You just state it as fact.
No, you're wearing something to keep you alive. I mean, the last
Right.
thing you want to complain about wearing something. I mean, basically, there's different stages of wearing nuclear. It's now called CBRN, but I'm going to go back to the old days. It used to be called nuclear, biological, and chemical warfare, and you have different stages of it. I probably don't know the different stages of 100%, but it was basically we had our nuclear, biological, chemical warfare suits on us. They were on. We had them on. We had the legs velcroed in. The suits were on. We had our haversacks with a respirator attached to us. We had our NBC gloves beside us and stuff in our pouches, inners and outers, your white gloves with your black rubber gloves. We had it all. So the NBC gloves were on. And then it came across the radio, which is called the net. It came across the net that the Scud missile launchers had been sighted. And we then got the NBC alarm, which is usually metal to metal, or if you hear metal to metal being banged, or if you hear car horns going, or if you hear the siren, they're the three indicators for it, or someone shouting gas, gas, gas. It's the indicator to put your mask on. And so we had that. We had it gas, 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 maybe about 3 or 4 times a day, which meant you would jump into a pre-dug shelf, like a hole in the ground you dug already, for safety. And that would be, you get your respirator, basically. What was it? The chemical safety rule was, if you experience a bombardment of any kind, sight, hostile or unknown, low-flying aircraft, notice symptoms yourself or others, such as dimness of vision, excessive salivation, or hearing alarm. Basically, you put your head between your knees, you get your respirator out, you put it on from the top on, so it comes on. Oh, no, from the top on. Make sure it's completely sealed. Then put your hood on over it. Once you have your hood on over it and it's all done, you then get your buddy to check it. You check his to make sure it's sealed. He checks yours. You work in pairs. Once that's done, you then get your blot bang rub, which is your DKP1 and DKP2, and you blot it all over your skin or all over your mask, and then you bang it and then you rub it in. So everything's sealed. You would probably then shout gas, gas, gas once your respirator's on, and you blow out any excess air, you clear the dust, and then you are completely sealed. Your whole body is sealed, and you stay like that. You stay like that for probably 30 minutes initially. It depends if the attack has a minute. You could be in that there. There was days I was in that for maybe 7-8 hours a day.
Oh my gosh.
Which is terrible. But the thing is, whenever you're in that type of environment, everyone's in it. And if you want a drink of water, you pull a tube out of your mask, you put it into an NBC lid on the water bottle, push it in, lift your water bottle upside down and take a drink. That's how you drink. If you want to eat, you have to undo your mask a little bit. You get your food, which has been, all the things have been checked. You then take a scoop, whatever it is, you put it in your mouth, seal it all up, everything's sealed again, and then chew. I mean, that's how you would eat in that. If you needed a number 2, you would have to take everything down, decontaminate. Your buddy would have to hold the bag for your poo to go in.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you wipe your own bum, it goes in the bag, it's all sealed. You blot bang rum, you decontaminate, put your suit back up, and you work as pairs. And that's what you have to do in that type of environment. And it's a terrible environment to be in. So whenever I'm hearing now possible, say, nuclear attack coming from different parts of the world,
right?
I'm hearing about all these different celebrities having these bunkers built, and I'm thinking, really? So when that bang happens one day, hopefully never, but if that bang was to happen and your parents are killed, your family's killed, there's no livestock left, there's nothing in the sea, there's nothing in the sky, there's nothing on the land, everything's been wiped out, but yay, there's 32 men in NBC suit alive. What? I'm going to be honest, what's the point?
Right. Yeah.
When it comes, we're all going to go. Some people are going to last longer than others. I mean, are you going to live like Rodney and Del Boy in a metal house with the fact that you have all these tins of beans piled up? What are you doing? You're just prolonging your death. I mean, it's just something that when I hear people talking about nuclear and biological warfare, I just smile, because there's no point trying to tell someone.
No,
we're all finished.
Yeah, we're done. Yeah, I agree. I fully agree. and I have a plan. Go out to a bench in my yard and just wait. I mean, all the other stuff is just, it's ridiculous. Now, sadly, in Iraq, you suffered tremendous losses that affected you deeply. I don't really want to spoil a lot for the readers, but because I'd love them to leave here and order your book.
That was
What?
Afghanistan.
Oh, in Afghan. Oh, when you got your medal, wasn't from Iraq?
I got the medal for work in Iraq. It was back.
But I mean, Luke was in Iraq.
No, that was Sangin in Afghanistan.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So, all right. Well, when you got your military cross, what was it like? Okay.
That's
Yeah.
Luke up there.
Oh, that's Luke.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't connect it, Trevor. Okay. Oh, God bless him. Oh, that was a hard read. That was tough.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know him. But when you got now the military cross, I'm thinking it's a medal for being wounded. It's a gallantry medal,
Yeah.
correct?
Mhm.
It's for behavior in battle, correct? Kind of how you handle.
Yeah.
Tell us.
I'm going to be honest with you. I can't read to you the full criteria of it, but
No.
yeah. It's for exemplary bravery. Yeah, there's it there. Exemplary bravery, basically in the face of enemy forces. Yeah. But I would like to point this out. I mean, that's a lovely photograph. But truth be told, and not many people know this, and Soldier, there's Soldier in the chat there. Jay Bub's in the chat. He knows how it works. So your service, sorry to say. Sorry, as a point, sorry to say, UK soldier, don't like for your service. We class a bit insult. Sorry, I have no idea what that means. Sorry about that.
You're probably removed.
But when it comes to being awarded a medal, and I hate this, you need to give out medals to lift morale up. That's what medals are for, basically. A medal being given out to an individual from a unit is to try and lift up the morale, because that unit's had a torrid time, no doubt, in battle. So, but I don't understand the criteria. I don't think it's right, because in order for someone to do something which they class as brave, you cannot do it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, for me to be able to suppress the enemy and put accurate shots down towards people that are dangerous, I need a left flank. I need guys on the left suppressing areas. I need guys on the right. I need top cover. I need about 6 to 10 men doing work in order for something to work. So when someone gets pointed out as in doing something brave, it really does piss me off, because you cannot achieve anything in battle on your own. And if anyone thinks they can, it's a lie. You can't do it. So it's a teamwork effort. So it's quite sad. If someone gets a gallantry medal, then I'm a firm believer that the rest of the team deserves some sort of citation. I really do believe that, and that needs to change. So yeah, you do something nice. You don't expect anything in return because you're doing your job. But if you are going to put someone on a pedestal, at least lift the other team members up.
That's very gracious. That's excellent. I think that's a great idea. So in Afghanistan, you suffered a lot of losses. Can you say now, I don't want to get into kind of a delicate subject. Can you say now it's probably where the PTSD started? Like the roots of it?
I would say the PTSD didn't even start in Baghdad. That was just, and I found Baghdad to be, and I mentioned before, it was like a walk in the park compared to Afghanistan. Definitely Afghanistan.
Okay.
Definitely Afghanistan. 2006 in Afghanistan. Probably the worst time of my life.
Yeah.
But I'm through it now. But it was certainly something where, if I'm honest, part of me died there and never returned.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
So
when you went to guard the insurgents. That was a really irritating time for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it
They
wasn't long.
got,
It was easy.
tell the people how much stuff they got. Like what their
Um,
privileges.
well, I didn't like it because
I know.
the UK government were appeasers, and I didn't like that. I understood the message behind it. You know, bring in the Taliban, bring in Al Qaeda. We have so many hours we've got to get information from, and then we have to release them. If they had information we thought was super important, then we did something which we weren't allowed to do by law. But I took part in prisoner exchanges where I flew Al Qaeda and top Taliban commanders. I flew them from Camp Bashan to Bagram and handed them over to US forces in their facilities. We did that. That was very rare. That was very rare that happened. I only took part in one of those exchanges, whereas we happened to have in camp at night time. UK Special Forces do a lot of along with US forces. They do a lot of nitty gritty work in the dark hours, and that's where they get the high value targets that are dangerous men, and they bring them in. And there was one time in particular where I was working. We had basically the commanding officer of Helmand Province. We had the brigade commander of Helmand Province, and we had something like a brigadier in the Taliban. We had 3 high-ranking, high-value gentlemen being held with us, and it was very hard to get information from them. Very hard. A friend of mine actually, can't give you her real name, but her name is Erin, and she's currently on the program SAS Who Dares Wins. She is the little girl with the blonde hair. She's an interrogator. She was part of the team. A young girl, believe it or not, young blonde girl, about 5'2". She was part of the interrogation team, intelligence team that extracted information from these dangerous men.
Wow.
So never judge a book by its cover. I mean,
right.
You would think butter wouldn't melt in her mouth, but she is a fierce young woman, and I've got a lot of respect for her. Actually, she's still a good friend of mine today. But she worked against him. I mean, imagine bringing in a high value target that's in charge of murderous operations towards British American forces and ISAF, and you bring them in, and you're angry. I'm angry, but you're trying to be professional. And I would say I would have them cuffed, and I'd take off their cuffs and put them away and move out the room. And she would come in. She wouldn't call me your name. She'd go, Sergeant, what are you doing? How dare you talk to him and treat him like this? And I'd be like, what? Oh no, go away. And she'd be, hello, are you okay? Yes. And they would bring out, this is like mind games. She'd wear gloves. Bring out the Qurans and things like that, all wrapped up, and pass them over. And do you want food? Do you want tea? Do you want green tea? And treat these guys like they're gods.
Right.
And this is part of the psychological warfare. And you treat them like they're gods. And then we're all annoyed. We're like, well, what's going on here? And then it's like, wait. And then it's like, I don't want to speak to you. I want to speak to her. I don't want to speak to you. I want to speak to her. The interpreter in there. So she's built a rapport up already, and they want to speak to her.
Right.
They know their egos have been rubbed, and she's the one that finds out the information from them.
How about that? Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's crazy how people do, but the interrogators they're good at what they do, no matter where they're from. They know what they're doing. Just trust them.
Yeah.
You would find out things like, pass it up. Make sure there's no guys walking down this part of the Sangin Valley at this time, because there's something along that route. And then again, you're finding there's a patrol's been saved for maybe an amputee, because we now know not to go down a certain way. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's all about building up rapport. And even though you despise the Taliban, and back in them days, I know they're now the legitimate government, but back then you didn't trust anyone, and you had people working really hard. I mean, that young lady and the team worked with her would sometimes put in like 18, 19-hour days, you know what I mean, around the clock, and get small and not get that much rest, because there wasn't that many of them. to get
Right.
this information. So it's interesting. Whenever they first came in, I used to get, I mean, whenever they first come in and you bring them in and the clock starts ticking, you've got your 8 hours or you've got your 9 hours to get information from them. Young lads don't understand what goes on. You just see these guys coming in, getting brand new prayer hat, beads, Quran, brand new distash trousers, brand new flip-flops. They're getting all this brand new stuff. And young lads that don't know any better are getting really angry at this.
Yeah.
You've got to bear in mind that behind this, the reason why you're giving them all fresh stuff is so you can take DNA and fingerprints and biometrics off their kit. So you're taking their clothes off and giving them new stuff, but they think, oh, they're getting all new stuff. But you're then going through your DNA database to check that, to see if it's linked to different IEDs and explosions and deaths of British and American and Danish and and Estonian troops. So there's a reason behind taking things off them and giving them new stuff. You're sort of trying to condition them, but without using the word conditioning, because that's illegal. You're trying to get them, you're trying to make them feel good, but at the same time, you're trying to link them to the deaths of your fellow brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Now there was a theme through your entire book about your intense desire and what I want to call commitment to train your men, keep them safe. And there were so many times that you would come up with ideas that challenged the status quo and would have made things better, but you were shot down.
Yeah, because there's a time and place.
What was the most heinous example of that? Can you think of one?
Well, anyone that's in the chat that's a veteran will understand this. The one thing that I understand the dynamics of trying to win hearts and minds of the locals. I get that. I understand putting out patrols around your base to keep yourself protected. I get that as well. But in an age when you have unmanned aviation, UAVs, drones that can scan the area and they can pick up infrared, why send troops out to patrol around your base and put them in danger when you can do an infrared check from drones to see any heat sources? So I didn't understand. I get it. You have these majors in charge of companies of men. You have these different bosses in the army that want to leave every location. And they want that thing where it says, well, my unit did 47 patrols. My unit did 63 patrols. My unit did 110 patrols. Well, my unit was going to do 115. And these officers that get DSOs and gallantry awards and MCs, these officers are competing against themselves at a higher level, but they're using troops as guinea pigs. So there was one time in particular, I was given a task. I won't say who by who, don't want to do that. But I was given a task by my OC, which is a major, in front of the sergeant major and everyone else. And it was, right, Coult, I want you to take your men out at last light, and I want you to patrol down a certain area. And I went, sir, are you sure about that? No. And he went, what? I says, I think that's maybe a bad idea. And then I got told, Coult, do you told, shut up. I said, well, first of all, stop. We've lost men. People are dead. So this is the place to bring it up. I don't agree with doing this patrol, sir. I just think that maybe wait till first light. Get out. And I remember being told, Coult, go wait over there and I'll speak to you in a minute. And I argued my point. And I said, no, I disagreed with it, and be it on your head. So basically, this is my point. I'm hoping there's veterans in the chat that understand this. So when the threat is IED and the threat is bombs in the ground, right? How did we circumnavigate that? Well, the simple thing we did is we had our searchers at the front of each patrol, and they had metal detectors and cable detectors. But I'm not going to go into I don't want to mention the different types of equipment because that's wrong, but they had equipment they were using. But in order to use this equipment, they needed to see the ground. So whenever you're walking at nighttime, when it's dark, you're walking slower than during the day. So you're a target, but you're walking slow. What else makes you a bigger target? Whenever you're having to use torchlight to search the ground. So now I've got two guys at the front of my patrol who are having to use torchlight, white light at nighttime, to search for IEDs. Now that is the perfect target for a Taliban sniper. So you want me to take my guys out at nighttime to walk slowly with a light around them, and you think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
So I argued that. I didn't want to take my men out at last light. I was ordered to do it, and I had to go and do certain patrols at night time, which I despised. And the way I got round it was, which is quite simple. I would take my men down. Now, this is when I was a different rank, whenever I was a sergeant. I would take my men down a certain area, search it, clear a compound, an empty compound, completely search the compound, get in there, secure it, put sentries out till first light, and then carry on with my patrol. And that way I kept my men safe, because putting the lives of your men unnecessarily in danger, to me, is the worst leadership decision that anyone can make.
Yeah. Now, you suffered a physical injury while serving in a prestigious position in the Sandhurst selection cadre. It had to do with an assault course and a 12-foot wall. Some big guy kind of threw you up and over, and you landed bad on your knee, right?
Well, thanks for bringing that up. That's quite embarrassing. But basically, I went and got all my qualifications done, and I went on the Sandhurst cadre to be a colour sergeant instructor, teaching officers. Actually,
right.
Had the right criteria. It's all about, it's mental as well. It's mental strength as well. The guys that go there are outstanding soldiers from all units. They're awesome, good men and good women. They're brilliant. I went on a selection cadre and had done quite a few lessons and teaching first aid, teaching this. Do you know what? I got shouted at, actually. And I was doing a lesson with my other peers, other sergeants, to the officers. And the lesson that I had been given to give to people was a reaction to effective enemy fire. So I was told I had to give that lesson, and I had printed it all out. I had everything set up, blah, blah, had the gun set up. Now, an officer from the Army Air Corps told me off and told me that I was too aggressive. And I remember the other sergeants going, how can he be? He's taking a lesson. His lesson is he's under fire. So he's screaming at the men. I mean, and giving out fire control orders, section 400, reference lone tree, 2 meters from red tree, right hand side, 1 times enemy. Rapid, and you have to scream this. You're screaming this because you're under fire.
Right.
And an officer who's not infantry said that I was too aggressive. And I will always question authority if I think it's wrong. I remember going, well, sir, of course it's too aggressive because you've never been in that situation. And he was like, what? He was raging. I said that. But yeah, I mean, there's a time and place to scream. On a battlefield, when there's bullets landing at your feet by the enemy, that's the time to scream. No other time. But some people don't get it. I find it strange how people react like that. But yeah, some people just aren't cut out for the job. Reference the assault course, though. You had to do the assault course, and it was your sections against each other, racing. And this guardsman, big tough guy, actually. Yeah.
Like catapulted you over the wall.
Gonna be honest. He was a Scots guardsman. His name's Davy Walker. He's passed away now. He was killed in Afghanistan, poor guy.
Oh,
but
no.
He's tall. He puts his hands on top of it. He goes, Speedy, get up. And I remember getting it. And he launched me. And I actually flew over that wall and I came down. And my knee hit it's gravel. It's gravel. My knee hit the gravel. And I got up and I was like, shit, my knee's gone. And I got up and I hobbled along. I tried to go on, but I couldn't do it. I hobbled along. I think I must have, after the wall, maybe carried on for about 100 meters, and I was in agony with my knee. I went and got checked out straight away to find that I had done damage to my cartilage, and that was me straight off the course. Yeah. I love fitness, but that was the end of my cadre. I remember going back to my room, fuming. There was a few guys there. There was a guy called Giles who'd been awarded the Military Cross. He was in the next room to me. So we had a great team of guys that were working hard, but it is what it is. You move on, don't you?
Yeah, but you had surgery, and didn't they like try to make you work, and you weren't even healed yet?
Yes. So this is what happened. I came back from that course. I was there for a couple of weeks on the course, actually, 4 or 5 weeks. I came back from the course. I was given 2 weeks sick leave to sort out my knee, and I remember I had like it's called what do you call it? Something surgery, keyhole surgery. I had keyhole surgery on my
Right.
knee, and it was about 2 weeks after I came back. But I kept getting calls from the training wing where I worked, and they were like, "When are you back? When are you back?" And I went, "Well, what do you need me to do?" Well, this is a guy called Noel, who was the training wing warrant officer at where I was, said, "We need you back." Why? Because you've been asked to go to Poole down in Dorset, the special boat service. You need to give them a training package on do's and don'ts about how to deal with prisoners of war, how to deal with insurgents, how to you need to go and give that lesson. And I was like, "But sir, why can't you go and do it?" Well, but you're up to date. You're back from Afghanistan. Your drills are up to date. And then I was like, "Well, why can't the other guys in the training wing? I mean, Colour Sergeant, Staff Sergeant Kev or Sergeant this." The lowest ranking there where I was working was a sergeant, and the highest rank you had a sergeant major, you had 2 staff sergeants and 8 sergeants. And it was like, "Well, we need you to do it." And I went, "Well, I can't drive. I mean, I've got a problem with my knee. I can't drive with my knee."
I'll drive you.
Noel
No.
said to me, "I'll drive.
No. Yeah.
I'll drive you down. We'll drive from Colchester to Poole in Dorset. You give the lesson and I'll drive back." So I'm like, okay. Then I'm trying to work out the dress code. Right. Well, these are special forces, so they're going to be in civvies. They're going to be wearing, maybe hill walking trousers, civilian boots, maybe a North Face jacket. So I dressed appropriately. So did Noel. And we drove down to Poole. We pulled up just outside the hangar. And I walked in the back of the hangar. There was another lesson happening. And they had a tea break, and they had like tea urns set up, and they went for tea urns. And I went over, and there was an officer there he left my unit in the Royal Irish. His initials are Mike Hotel, MH, but he's called Matt. Anyone, don't say his name if you're in the chat. But Matt came over, he went, Speedy. I said, "What are you doing here?" "Oh, well, I've cross-decked the cross for the special boat service operation. I'm on this operation now, and I thought you're SAS." He went, "Yeah, I am." I didn't say SAS. We don't talk like that. I said, "I thought you're over with 2-2. He says, "I am, but this is part of the..." And I went, "Okay." He says, "You doing this lesson?" I says, "Aye." I says, "I'll tell you what, I'm out the army now. I can say this." I says, "I'll tell you what though, I can give you the green version, which is what I teach green troops, or I can cut away all the bullshit and I can just tell you what I think you need to know." "Oh, what do you mean?" "Well, I'm going to cut away all the nonsense that the green troops get taught, and I'll just teach you what I think." And he went, okay, go for it. Now, if I was to teach an ordinary British soldier, I would show them how to put on. You're having to stand to show young soldiers how to put handcuffs on, right?
Right.
When you're teaching the special forces, you don't need to show them how to put handcuffs on. Don't embarrass their intelligence. You know what I mean? So there's certain things you can cut away. Does anyone know how to get someone over an obstacle? Well, I can teach a young lad in the Royal Irish that, but I don't need to teach a sergeant in the Special Air Service how to move a prisoner of war around. So it's just, you don't embarrass them. So I remember sitting there and I put up the thing. I goes, "Right, guys, the 3 reasons why we detain in Afghanistan: force protection, blah, 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 blah." Okay, everyone happy? Okay, right. When you're going to deploy to Afghanistan, you're probably going to go to Kandahar, or you're going to go to these areas. The threats, just speak right. I was like, the threats in those areas at the minute are this threat, suicide-borne vehicle, tripwire. These are the threats you're going to face. These are the type of wires which have been found, and these are the type of electronic countermeasures you see that we use in those areas. Okay, the threat at the minute here, this has happened in these areas. And then I was like, right, what I want to tell you now is this: whenever you are out at night time, you run off the back of those choppers and you're doing your maneuvering, and you're going in to pick up your high value targets. I need to make it quite clear that whenever you pick up those high value targets, what would work for people back in camp, if you want people back in camp to get as much intelligence from the people that you have captured. Please do not send your arrest reports when you take someone prisoner. Do not do it, because if you get someone a high value target and you cuff them and you bag them and you send it over the radio what you've done, the clock starts ticking. It may take an hour for your chopper to arrive. That means that's an hour we don't get back in camp. It may be 2 hours. You may have to fight again. So this is what I suggest you do. I would suggest that you do not send your arrest report until your chopper's about to land in camp. When your chopper's about to land in camp and you send your arrest report, the clock ticks, and the minute you get off the chopper, it gives British forces maximum time to extract information. As well as that, another important thing is, which is crazy, when you arrest someone and you question them, the minute that, if you question someone and you ask them their age, or you try to ascertain their age, and if they say a certain age, by law, you're not allowed to question them. You must stop questioning them straight away, because they've told you they're below age. The minute they say they're below age, that's it, no questions. So my advice to you is question them, and at the very end, ask them how old they are, right? So
Yes, right. I read that.
I was trying to get the guys to get as much knowledge from the ground as they could, and how to help us extract information. Now, that's the lesson I gave down there. At the end of that lesson that I gave, I think it lasted about an hour or so. At the end of the lesson, I remember Noel saying to me, "Are you happy with that?" And before I got a chance to say anything, Matt came over to me and he says, "Trev, that was really, really educated. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. The guys are really chuffed. They know there's no in between. Really chuffed, mate." I says, "Have a safe tour, buddy." And he went, yeah, thank you. And I appreciate it. He says, "I'm going to write up to your boss and say thanks." Anyway, on the way back in the car, I got oh, well done. I says, "Well, I didn't want to do this, mate. Didn't want to do that. I wanted to get it out." I mean, these are a different level. Now, unbeknown to me, when I got back in camp, I'm glad that Matt sent me a good report back from what I taught them. But my sergeant major, who had never done any soldiering in his life, he'd went through the PTI. He'd been a Lance Corporal PTI, then a full Corporal PTI, then he'd been a Sergeant PTI, then he transferred where I was working. But he went through the ranks, but he hadn't done soldiering before. Unbeknown to me, when my report comes out, I get a cracking report, and I check my emails, good report from the boss down in Hereford. But my sergeant major gave me a shit report and said I didn't teach the proper criteria. And I'm like, and I just got to the stage where I just thought, I don't even like working for you. You don't even know how to put together a training program. You're embarrassed. I mean, I had to go down and do you're the sergeant major of the training wing, and you couldn't take that lesson. You had to get me going down with hopping with a crutch. So yeah, I mean, I don't suffer full badly, Cindy, unfortunately.
All right, I have just a couple questions, and we'll go to the audience. Can you explain how you came up with the title Exploitation?
Oh, yes.
I mean, I know, but it's better coming from you.
Well, whenever I was basically, I wrote first into singing, which was, I used that to get rid of the trauma and help move forward, which it worked. But I remember sitting back and thinking, I'm not finished. I am not finished. There's something else that I want to do. I'm not finished. So
right.
There's still a lot of stuff in my head that I need to deal with.
Right.
So at the time, first of all, I'll tell you the cover came about. I remember looking and seeing Jason. I'll show you why I come up with the cover.
Okay. I
remember seeing, for instance, I'll get this book out. I'll get this book out. I'll get this book out. I'm just going to show you what I mean. So, when I'm thinking about books, I think, how do I sell a story? So, when it comes to exploitation, you have, see his face? Front cover, yes. Jason Parks. Yeah. Front cover, Ollie. Front cover, Brian.
Okay.
Front cover. So you can see the trend here. So I thought, well, your face on the front cover that stands out. Now, believe it or not, you're going to laugh now. I took that photograph by holding my phone up. I took a selfie. That's just a selfie that I've used for that.
Wow.
And I got it blown up. So I thought that. Now, then I want title. What title stands out? And then I thought, okay, so when we bring captured people into camp, we're not allowed to interrogate them anymore because that's illegal. That wording is illegal. So to get round that wording, we've now changed it from interrogation to exploitation. We exploit our prisoners.
Right.
And then I thought, okay, so that's one reason why we do it. Why else? Well, politicians exploit soldiers to fill out their own political agendas by war. So exploitation is where soldiers are exploited for political agendas, and the fact that we exploit our enemies. So I came up just the word made sense to me. It made
Right.
sense.
Okay.
And that's why I called it exploitation.
Okay. I think we covered that. Okay, so when we spoke before in another live, you had mentioned that writing for you was your therapy. You were able to get rid of all the stuff in your head, what happened, everything you saw in the theaters and during your military service, onto paper and out of your head, and you put it to the side. Do you consider that process instrumental in your recovery from PTSD? Because from what I can gather and what you've told me, you're good.
For me, it worked. The trauma, the drama you've got with severe trauma is it doesn't work for everyone. I mean, I wish it would. I think people writing down and going through notes, yes, it brings it back up to your mind, but it gets rid of it, in my opinion. But the crazy thing about the mind is everyone's different. What works for me won't work for you. So I have veterans that have been through severe trauma need to find a way, a coping mechanism. For instance, my dog helped massively. I mean, so different steps. For instance, I lived out in the woods towards Rendlesham for quite some time, for a couple of years, which was beautiful. The scenic, going out for a walk, which I found very therapeutic.
Yeah.
But I also find, not now I'm in a good place, but I also find that being around veterans that have suffered trauma like you is great therapy, because you know what? You bounce off each other, you have a go at each other, you slag each other off, your mannerisms, everything it works. But then for me, it's a short time sort of thing to do, short time gain, short time pain, but long term gain. So being around veterans helps. Getting out in nature helps massively, but you have to go through stages. For me, I went from walking my dog to being out woods, to me and Charlie going out and doing things together. But I find now that I don't sit at home every day. I mean, I do calls and stuff. I mean, I find that being around like-minded people, but I have been hammered over the years with just hate online. I've now got rid of that. I've got a great circle around me, but it comes. I mean, whenever you have written books and you've got celebrity friends and you have endorsements coming in and your channel's doing well and you've got a gallantry medal and you mean there's going to be people out there that don't like that. It's natural. You have to deal with it. I mean, the minute I got the day I got that MC was the day that half my friends loved me and half the people hated me just from that news. So, I mean, I remember, for instance, being told I'd been awarded the MC. That happened in Afghanistan. Been awarded. Got back to Fort George, which is up in Inverness, up in Scotland. I was just walking through camp, coming back from the NAFI, coming back from the shopping camp, walking towards my block, C Company block, and a B Company sergeant, was he a sergeant major? Probably a sergeant major. A B Company sergeant major, I won't mention his second name, but everyone knew him as Bab, hadn't spoke to me, ever. Always spoke down to me.
Yeah.
And he just came out of the blue and went, "All right, Speedy." I'm like, all right, sir.
Hey.
Call me Bap. Call me Bap. I'm like, well, no. I mean, sir, what are you up to tonight? I says, I don't know. Me and my friend that was in the SAS, me and I'll say D, the letter D. Me and D hung around each other. We're probably just go out for a beer. You want to come into a mess? I'll invite you in for a beer and stuff. And what? And then I was just thinking about it. I was thinking, Why have you
Yeah.
chosen now to be nice to
Yeah.
me?
Yeah.
You've treated me like a scumbag for years. I mean, different ranks. I mean, that was a different culture. It was a shock to me. I mean, I think that was the day that he reached out to me, and I just didn't want to know, because I didn't want people to use me for the medal. And I started to see people in my camp that wouldn't speak to me, and people in the camp that thought I was great. My mates, were always my mates. They never changed, but it was just they would say to me, "Have you seen the way he talks to me now? Because I'm your mate." I'm like, it was a curse. It was a curse, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, I've opened up the comments on the side. I can see you. Thank you, everyone, for coming again. If you have a question, can you put it in caps for Trevor? And I will go back up and see if there are any in caps already.
Dave Coulter's in the chat. Good to see Dave in.
I see Carla.
Yes, good to see Carla back. Yeah, that's wonderful.
Carla.
What I will find is that I'll explain this one thing about gallantry medals.
Yeah.
There is a lot of people that have got them today, which is wonderful. But when it comes to gallantry medals, some people say, and I've read this in the past, oh, he lied about his medal. He lied about his medal. Right. So this is how a gallantry medal works, how you get one. When you're out on a patrol and an incident takes place, when there's bullets exchanged, what happens after that was whenever you get back into camp, it's usually the sergeant major and the OC or the 2IC. 3 people would be there, and you would go in front of them and you would give a statement as to what actions you carried out, what you seen, and why you did it, and why you fired, and what you're firing at. So each soldier on that patrol. So for instance, my one in Baghdad, I think there was about 11, 12 people after that came in and gave statements in the guard room. So you give a statement of what you did. Now, all those statements get collated. So I can say whatever I want, but if I'm lying, the other 10 statements will prove that I've lied.
Right.
So whenever you write down what you've done or the actions you've carried out, it has to be collaborated with the other 11 reports that are coming in, the other statements. And once those statements all go ahead, they're checked not only by your company commander, they go up to the battalion 2IC, then the commanding officer. Then they have to go through a series of strategic boards by high-ranking military to see if it stands up. And then at the end of all that, when it's been through everything, they then make a decision as who is getting what award. So whenever people say you lied about your award, that doesn't make sense, because
No.
it wasn't you who asked for an award.
Right.
It went through a series of maybe about 20 checks, and everyone
Right.
had to meet it. Yeah, so that's how awards are decided. So
Now, Miss Annabelle, our friend, has a question. If Trevor had not gone into service, what would he have done for work?
wow. Okay. To be honest with you, Annabelle, thanks for that question. But had I have not joined the army, I probably would have become a terrorist back in Northern Ireland.
Really?
Cindy,
I'm
you're
laughing.
laughing.
Are you serious?
Yes, I am. Believe it or not, back in Northern Ireland, in my housing estate where I grew up, it was filled with UDA and UVA. It was organisations that wanted to repel different things. I joined the army to get away from all that. I didn't want to be part of that. So I joined because young lads at my age were being recruited for the Ulster Defence Association. I hope Dave Coult is still in the chat and can sort of mention something. But young lads my age were being recruited by the Ulster Volunteer Force and the Ulster Freedom Fighters and the Ulster Defence Association. And that was where I grew up, in an area where that type of situation was, racketeering and bits and pieces. And that was the norm. So I would have probably been swallowed up by that type of environment had I have not got up and joined the British Army and left. So that was the life where I grew up, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay, Denise is asking, what, if any, disillusionment did you have when serving, especially after your military career was completed?
Good question. Well, first of all, when you're part of this system and you're a military and you're a military man, you're part of the system, you're used to following orders and doing everything and being told what to do and falling in line. And I mean, the OCD coming off people is it's second to none. I mean, you want people to be there at the right time. You have to be clean, immaculate. So whenever you leave that system, now bear in mind, whenever you're in that system and you're mentally broken, you don't know you're mentally broken, because the truth is, Cindy, everyone around you's mentally broken, but you don't realize, because you all work together. So you can never see there's an issue with people because you've all have the same issue. So it's easy to contain mental health. But whenever you leave, you realize that you have issues, but you don't know how to deal with it. They've just taken away from you your body system by putting you out the army. It's a struggle. Whenever I left, the whole disillusionment was, what was it worth? Why? I mean, you've just sent me to Afghanistan to stop the Taliban, but then you've just sent planes out to fly them here, to live beside us.
Right.
That doesn't make sense.
Right.
I mean, I'm not safe in my own safe environment now because I've got these Afghans living around me that I don't trust, and I feel insecure, and my PTSD is going through the roof, and people turn to drugs and drink. So the disillusionment was, I think Afghan was a waste of time, if my own opinion, and I think soldiers died needlessly. And believe it or not, I have a fallen picture up here of Afghanistan of every soldier that was killed in Afghanistan.
Yeah, I know. It's beautiful.
And it's quite sad to think that I think their sacrifice was in vain, you know.
No.
So that's difficult to deal with.
Now, do you know J Bubs here?
Yes, he's in the chat. He's a veteran, isn't he?
Well, it takes all types of individuals to be able to fight for your country. As I was there in the op, Telic as the example of life-changing experiences in your life forever.
Yeah, I believe J Bubs was he? Let me get this right. He was in the Guards regiment, wasn't he? The Guards, yeah. Well, in the Guards. He was in the Guards. He was a Guardsman. Yeah.
He said you had luxury accommodation, Trevor, as we had to sleep along the vehicles.
I would not disagree with that statement.
Oh, trying to find questions here. Lots of hellos, so many people. Oh.
You learn a lot, though.
Huh?
You learn a lot about yourself and about what your capabilities are. So,
I don't see any questions in caps yet. Oh, here. Trevor, did you ever share your letter with your family that you wrote going into battle?
No. My mother still got it in an envelope somewhere. She kept it.
Dave's asking, hey, Trev, if you had your time over, would you do it again? Thanks.
I would do everything again in the army. There is one thing that I shouldn't have done, but you know what? It's learning curve. So basically, the night we got back from the Gulf War in 2003, myself and a good friend of mine, actually, Paul Haddock, known as Fish, we hadn't. I mean, you're coming back from the Gulf, you haven't drunk alcohol in months, but we went out. He came to my room. And I was over in B Company Block. He came to my room. We had a couple of beers. Then we had a bottle of wine. Then we went out and we drank spirits. And we came back to my room at the end of the night in my one-man bunk. And I turned the music on and it was too loud. But I was drunk. Next room to me had 4 soldiers sleeping in it. And they came in and they were saying, turn it down, turn it down. And I was like drunk. I was like, look, off. And Fish was like, oh, we started arguing. And we got into a fight. That night, and it resulted in me and my friend Paul Haddock getting 6 months jail for that.
Oh,
not in a prison like a correctional. I mean, we went to MCTC, the Glass House in Coult for 6 months each, reduced to the ranks. Now, when I say that, our prisons are nowhere near as bad as American prisons. You use are lethal, but over here, our MCTC is like a correctional thing to rehabilitation. You know, you're doing lessons every day, and I mean, it was a silly thing. So that's one of my regrets, if I'm honest. But then again, when I was there and I got to see how it worked, I got on well with the instructors and the people that worked there. And that resulted in me going back there about, it was 2003. I went back there in 2012 because I enjoyed it. Sounds weird. And I went back there to teach. So I learned. So that's a regret that I have. It's probably the only military regret I have. The second regret that I have would be, and I mean this, I wish I had been picked to go to Baghdad. And if I'm honest, I regret being awarded that gallantry medal. I regret ever having it. It's been the worst thing of my life. So
Trevor.
I really regret that medal more than anything in the world.
I'm sorry.
I've been made to feel like a right scumbag because of it. So I regret having that medal.
No. Oh. Now, Kat is asking, do certain noises trigger you?
No.
Good.
They used to. Several years ago, I didn't like fireworks. I didn't like loud bangs. Now, a couple of days ago, where was I a couple of days ago? I was with Matt, a guy who lives not too far from me, a veteran. I was sitting with him, and someone came in the room with their dog, and their dog barked without me, and I sort of jumped a little bit, but I think that's normal. I think most people do that. But
yeah,
I actually hated certain things, and it'd make me cry. But whenever I had a young lad growing up who loved fireworks, I had to go and stand and hold his hand and just accept it and just take it on and try and fight through the fear because he loved it. So I sort of got over that quite a lot. So
yeah, good.
Yeah.
Now, the questions seem to have ended, but is there anything you want to add that you wanted to tell us?
Yeah, I suppose there is one thing I want to get off my chest, and that is YouTube is a place. This is a platform that we all use for different ways. Some people use it to grow. I use it to offload. I've used this because I never used to like. I mean, I left the army. I used to teach. I teach thousands of people lessons, and I got you. But after a while, you sort of lose that. You lose that confidence, and you sort of give up. And YouTube's been a place where it helps you gain confidence. It helps you get your self-esteem back. But the one thing that I don't understand, and I can't get my head around this, I really can't, is why YouTube lets hate thrive on here. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand why ordinary people, these so-called oxygen thieves that have YouTube channels that add no value to the community, they're gossip channels, and they get off hate. They talk about mental health. A lot of YouTubers talk about mental health. They talk about lifting each other up, but then they attack people that they know are suffering internally with trauma, and they get off on it. And for that, I find shameful. I find it shameful that people think that that is a nice thing to do. And do you know what? Karma comes for everyone in the end.
It does.
So I just wanted to say that.
Now, and I've got to ask you, you're writing your next book and you hope to get it out April 4th, and it's a novel. Just, you've told me before, but just for people who don't know, tell us about it.
Well, I decided to use real life experiences and fiction, and I put it together in one book. The book that I'm writing is called Agent 77, and it's about a real brigade called 77 Brigade. 77 Brigade is a brigade put together by the Ministry of Defence and civil servants, and its sole purpose is a psychological brigade. This exists in London. It's a psychological brigade which go after people on social media, which shut down narratives, and they shut down people's reputations if they become a threat to the establishment or they become a threat to the status quo. If you have a lot of veterans in the UK that are very outspoken, they will become targets of 77 Brigade. And then the rumours start, and false accounts get made up. People run these so-called bot farms that go after people and destroy them in order to get them off social media. So that is what the book is about, and it's about some real life experiences and others that I've made up to keep the book flowing in the right direction. Now, Saturday, I'm out at a football game with my son.
Yeah.
And a friend of his is playing who's just joined the team. And his dad's there watching the match.
Okay.
And he goes, "Hi, Trevor." I said, "Oh, all right. Are you still a colonel at the Ministry of Defence?" "I am indeed." I'm like, "Okay." "What are you doing?" "Well, I'm writing a book about your corrupt organisation." I can't really say that, can I? I mean, I just went, "Well, it's good to see you." I walked off.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh, well, everybody, it's been an hour and a half. I am just so tickled with this. I want to thank Trevor for giving us that time. It was so much fun. It flew by for me.
It did.
Thank you.
And I didn't expect
Please,
it to be.
please buy his books, Exploitation and First into Sanguine. Sanguine or Sanguine?
Sangin.
Sangin.
Banging
Okay.
and sangin.
And look for his new book. And thank you to all the moderators and everybody who submitted questions. This was nice. And I just want to thank you all.
Thank
Thanks,
you, Sid.
Trevor.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for having me on your channel. Thank you.
Oh,
And
you're welcome.
I want to see your channel go. We're heading towards 2,000, so it's really good.
I know. Thank you, sir. All
Thank
righty.
you.
All right.
Have a good day, everyone.
You
Bye.
too. Bye-bye, everybody.